good evening. Tonight we're going to be talking about... I've got prizes to give away tonight. I forgot that. I'll have... Oh, no, that's tomorrow. It's Thursday tonight. So prizes tomorrow night. So go back over a couple of nights ago. I gave out a challenge to change the exercises to suit different people. And I'm going to give a prize of a NTX beanie to the best ones. Tonight I am going to talk about ropes and knots, and it's it's going to be freediving related, but then moving into ELF. So if you've got a piece of string with you or a shoelace, anything's fine. It's just to practice. Again, as always, I'll be putting this up online on YouTube so you can look back over it. There are so many knot tutorials available online that me teaching you knots is not the objective. I'm going to show you the knots and some knots, and but more importantly, I'm going to give you a list of what knots you need to know. Okay, that's the important thing. You can go away and learn them, and especially in lockdown, you can sit and I tend to find people, once you get into tying knots, you just fiddle and play with knots all the time. As long as you've got a piece of string, you can do it. So a few years ago, we were diving. As freedivers, we were exploring places, and we realised that there were some places, and in fact, there was the case was actually there's a lake called Lake Dorothea in Wales, and we were diving this lake. It's quite a famous freediving lake, but we saw there's another lake next to it, and we call it the lake next to Dorothea, and we wanted to dive it, and it's a little bit of a kind of slope down, a bit tough to get to. So I remember we tied a rope to a tree and kind of scrambled down to dive this lake, and there's a great shot that Ian got of me and Freya at the bottom of this it was maybe like 3 meters. It wasn't vertical, but it was tough to get down to, and we started using ropes from that moment, and that must have been 6 years ago or so. And we then started seeing places that we could dive but couldn't get to. So we started using ropes more and more, and there was a trip to Wales where we descended down a long way down to a beautiful quarry. And we employed a guy called Chris to help us, and he tied off, and we kind of abseil walked down to this, and we realised that we needed more skills to access these places. So we started looking into the best way to learn these skills, and it came down to caving. Caving is the most extreme locations that people can get to, so we decided we're going to learn how to cave, and then we can backtrack those skills back to freediving. So that's a little bit of background as to why we do caving, why caving is part of our itinerary, and we teach it now, and we use it quite a lot, and we use the skills a lot. So when I say caving, people think of muddy holes and squeezing through little passages, but it's not like that at all. For instance, there's a place in Cornwall which is on a beach, okay, and it's on a beach near a place called Holywell, which is actually Holy Well, and this is the Holy Well, and this is literally on the beach. You can walk along the beach and you can find this cave. You've got sandy feet from the beach, and you can go and see this beautiful cave formation here. So you've got a load of pools going down stepping down, and the colours of the rock are fantastic. And this is, not a lot of people know where it is, but not everybody who goes to the beach knows it. Okay, there's hundreds and hundreds of people on this beach in the summer, and most of them don't go and see the Holy Well, which is just an incredible formation that you can just walk up to. When we're in when we're in Iceland, we go to caves as well. They're actually not caves; they're lava tunnels, lava tubes, and here's one here that with ice formations in. We go in April usually when it's cold, and these are ice formations that are made from the ice dripping through the ceiling and creating these stalactites. And again, this looks extreme. It's a cave. Wow. Well, when we took this photo, Louise was sitting maybe 5 meters in the sunshine watching us take this photograph. Okay, so it's not difficult to get to. They're beautiful places, and that anybody could access them. Okay, so obviously we're freedivers, so there's an element here that missing, that we're looking for water. And so there's for instance, there's a cave in Menorca which Adam can take us to. Now you access this from the sea. It's a senior dive, but it's not particularly, well, it's definitely not technical, apart from it being pitch black in there, and it's not particularly difficult to get there, but it's stunningly beautiful, and you have to access. The only way to access this is from the sea and going in, and Adam can take us there, and you can see hipster there. It's no natural light, so all the light in these caves is we take it with us, artificial light. Okay, so this is kind of getting a little bit more to what we're doing, and what we're looking at doing, and then we move into actual real quiet technical caves to get to. So especially as we met Chubb, he just took us on several levels in our caving. We were kind of learning stuff slowly, and he just came in this other, just took us to a different level. And so we're doing things now, like for instance, this is our training cave, which is the Elf, which I showed the video the other day, where you have to hike up a hill. So it's at least an hour hike away from the car, up a mountain. Then subsurface, you go underground. Then you have to rig the ropes. Then you can see Mika's in the red there, abseiling into the lake where you can dive. And this is the furthest we kind of go. So you start from the basics and you go forwards. Okay. So this is what I'm going to kind of show us. Okay, so without further ado, let's go back to what you signed up for tonight, and that's ropes. And knots. So for freediving, for pure freediving, you only need maximum of 3 knots. A maximum of 3 knots. Okay. I say maximum of 3 and then tell you 4, but that's not the point. Okay. The first one is called a Clove Hitch. Okay, so if you've got a carabiner, usually hanging on the bottom of a buoy or on the back of a boat, and you have a rope with a weight on it, you need to attach that rope to that carabiner, and we use a Clove Hitch. Okay, so very, very simple. I'll show it, I'll describe it, but there are loads of tutorials about it. Okay, so literally, Clove Hitch. You turn a rope like this. Okay, so literally turn it into a loop. Okay, and then make another one. Okay, and cross them over. That's it. Okay, so all I'm doing, I'm making a loop, making another loop. Now the interesting thing here, let me get a little bit closer to the camera. See, the rope is on the front this side. Okay, you can hopefully see there, and they cross over like that. And all that happens is that you just clip that onto the carabiner, and that's it. That's your clove hitch, beautifully demonstrated. Okay, and this is enough to hold the 15 kilo weight. Okay, so or a 20 kilo sled. Okay, but the interesting thing with this is you can loosen it quite well and then kind of move up the rope without undoing it. Okay, it's a bit fiddly, but it works perfectly well. Okay, it's a clove hitch. So that's what you need to be able to do. You need to be able to do it quick, and you need to be able to do it with in the water. Okay, so literally you can just bang, clip it straight on. That's it should be that quick. Oh, dropping my demonstrations. 1, 2, clip it on, and that's it. Okay. Sorry, I went off screen. 1, 2, and clip it on. That's it. That's how easy the clove hitch is. Okay. Now, recently, tying off to buoys has been superseded by this bad boy. Okay, this is an Octopus rope puller thing. Okay, and it's very much like anybody who's done caving or abseiling will know ascenders. So if this little toothed kind of bit here bites into the rope and it doesn't move, I can't pull it away. Okay, so that's how we'd hang it with weight on. Okay, but if you want to pull it up, you can pull it up, and then when you put weight on it again, it locks. Okay, so it's a one-way system. Okay, if you want to drop it, you just push this button and it drops down until you don't want it to drop anymore. And when there's tension on it, it locks itself. You don't have to do this. Right? So very, very simple bit of kit. Okay, so you can always pull it up. You can always pull it up. Okay, so this is an Octopus. An Octopus rope puller. The company's called Octopus, and you can see it being used here. So there's panos on the back of the dinghy, and you can see the rope going through the Octopus, and it means on the boat he can just lift up the rope super easy. Okay, and drop it down. And in fact, this was designed that you can put your foot against it and pull against your foot, so you can pull it up super easy. Beautiful bit of kit. If you buy a buoy, if that's the kind of thing, or you start diving off a boat, get one of those Octopus kind of rope pullers. Okay, so that's the clove hitch and the Octopus puller that now means you don't need to know your clove hitch. Okay. The only other ones we need are a figure of 8. Okay, so figure 8, figure of 9. You know, they're very similar. Very similar, simple thing. So very simple. I'll just show you. So this is a figure of 8. So I'm creating. Let me make it nice and big for you. So I'm just literally taking a loop, making a loop. Now, if I poke this through here, okay, it will make a knot, it will make a granny knot, but this will pull super tight and you'll never get it undone. Okay, so instead of that, what we'll do, okay, make a loop, wrap this around here, and then through. Always dress your ropes afterwards, make them look nice. I know Chubb's online probably, and he's going to be saying, "Oh man, dress your knots," and that's why it's called a figure of 8. It looks like a figure of 8, and this won't pull tight, so you can always undo it. Okay, so I'll show you once more. Super simple. Okay, so you just take the rope, and I've taken, I mean, you can do it on one piece of rope if you want. Okay, I'm doing it on two, but let's try it with one piece of rope. So I make a loop. Okay, now if I poke it through, it'll make a knot. We don't want that, so we wrap it around and then through, and you can see it's a figure of 8. That's why it's called a figure of 8. And this is called, this is an end rope knot. Yes, let's just make another one up, which means you can put it at the end of a rope and you can hang on it. So you'd use this to tie onto a weight if you're putting a weight on a rope, or if you were hanging off the rope. Address that. Okay, you can hang on it. Usually you'd kind of just tie off at the end, just as a safety precaution. Maybe put a hitch on it or something. Okay, but effectively you can hang on both lines anyway. Okay, so that's a figure of 8, an end of line rope, end of line knot. One of the ones that you don't really need to know, but it's a fun one to use, is a figure of 9. Okay, Chubb's going, what? Never heard of a figure of 9. It's I think it was a name made up by the guys in SEPA. Okay, and you use it at the bottom of a rope with a weight. Okay, so you make the loop, you go around once, that would be a knot that you don't want. Go around, that would be a knot, a figure of 8. You just go around once more and it's a figure of 9. It's an ugly knot. Look at that, how ugly is that knot? Ugh. Okay, and that is just literally a stopper knot to stop things falling off. So you use that on a weight. Okay. So I said there's 3 knots you need. Okay, so I've told you the Clove Hitch, figure of 8. I showed you the figure of 9, which is just a bit of fun that you don't really need. Okay, it's a figure of 8 plus an extra turn. And a bowline. Okay, so the bowline, I think everybody in the world should know a bowline. Okay, if you know any knot in the world, know a bowline. Okay, if you go on a boat, you'll use it. If you go caving, you'll use it. Okay, and in freediving, if you've got a rope, you're going to have to tie it onto something to make sure it doesn't just fall off when you've finished using it. Use a bowline. Okay, tying up a horse, use a bowline. Tying up a boat, use a bowline. Okay, so I'm going to show how to do a bowline. Now, bowline is that it's the famous knot and the famous one that people show, and it's also the famous one that people say, I never understood how to do a bowline. Okay, and it's the one involving the snake and the tree, etc., etc. But I'll show you how you can do it, but I'll also show you how it works, and then that should make a little bit of sense. So I'm tying this rope off to this carabiner, okay, and I make a knot, a loop, sorry. Okay, I'll make a loop. Okay, now it goes through the hole, round the back. I'm fiddling, and back through the hole. Now, if you do it the wrong way, that's what happens. Which is why it's super dangerous to use a bowline, because if you get it wrong, it falls apart. Okay, so what you've got to think about is when you do your kind of loop, okay, and you go through, round the back, sorry, you go through, round the back, and up. I'm trying to do it backwards so you'll see it. Okay, you can see the first loop, this arm here of that first loop is being pulled into the rope, into the lock, so it locks in. I don't know whether I explained that or showed it. Okay, so let me deconstruct it though. So all it is this rope here is pulling this bit this way. Okay, so it goes through, round, back up. So hopefully makes a bit of sense. That's why it works. It pulls this little rope that way, and that's a bowline. I think this is an English bowline where the ropes, the tail's on the inside, and the European one's on the outside, but it doesn't really matter. Okay, there's lots of ways of doing it. I suggest learning at least 2 ways of doing a bowline. That's it. Okay. The only other knot that I'm going to tell you about is a cave butterfly. Okay, a cave butterfly, and it looks like this. Okay, and the only reason I'm mentioning it is these butterflies are not end of rope knots. They are when you're using them in the middle of a rope. Okay, so that can clip on there. There must be a knot at this end, and there must be a knot at this end, but that kind of keeps it in the middle. Okay, so there's 2 types of butterfly. We use the cave butterfly, and I think it's called the Italian butterfly. Okay. Okay, so that's it. That's your knots you need. Okay, that's your knots you need. They're the knots you need to know. Bowline, learn it, play with it, work out how it works. Figure of 8, super easy, and yeah, you should have a figure of 8 down. You can use it everywhere. Okay, clove hitch. If you're a free diver, you need to know a clove hitch. Okay, because you may forget your octopus one day, and then you'll need your clove hitch. Okay, and the only other thing you might see is a butterfly, and so I've shown that, and that's it. They're the knots you need to know. Once you can do that, then you can get yourself out of trouble, and yeah, do things like this. Okay, so that's the royalty-free version, so we don't get this video banned. So hopefully you can play with some of those ideas, those knots, learn them, and have fun with them. And we will see you tomorrow night. It's 4 minutes to, so you know the drill. It's Thursday night, so you can get out there and bang a pot or whistle or cheer for all those people out there who are still on the front line, keeping us, well, I don't know whether they're keeping us safe, they're keeping us moving, and that's the important thing, keeping the world turning. So delivery drivers, public transport, and obviously the people in the NHS, all those workers, go out there and give them a round of applause. And I'll see you tomorrow night. Ciao. Chubb's come online. Hi, Chubb. You'll have to watch it back. It's all about Chubster. Bye-bye.